Hey, this is Michael with Jellyfish Lighting. So I've already kind of given you hints of part 1 and part 2 of a lighting project I'm doing. Now it's time for part 3. Okay, here is my wire that comes out of the wall in my house. And we're actually up above my front door. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a track. And I think I'm going to set it back, maybe about 6 inches from the shelf there so that it can't be seen from the front door. Normally I would run it all the way against the wall here and make it fit normal all the way down, but I'm thinking that I might actually, because it's hidden, it's obscure, nobody's ever going to see it. I'm not really worried about closing it off up here. But I'm going to install these lights here, and they're above my living room, and my TV, and above my door, and they're going to shine up and illuminate the ceiling and the wall up here. Okay, I know it's kind of a mess, but what I did is I took a T-square and I drew a straight line part way, and I'm going to take a shorter piece of track and I use pan heads on it. That I'm going to do first, and then I marked kind of where I actually held this here. I found out where my studs are, so I've got a stud here and I've got a stud over here that I'm going to anchor those into. I'm going to put a little notch in that corner for the wire to go through. I should be able to get this first piece of track laid across here. Okay, so on my lights, I'm paying attention to the direction, the arrow on here. I'm actually going to cut part of this length off. There's my other end going out over there. And then I'm going to trim this wire maybe to about 3 or 4 inches and splice the two together. Red striped or red striped center to white, outside to black and green. Okay, so I have my crimps on, my center wire. Center wire is going to white. My outside wire comes over here and goes to black and green combined. And my red wire goes to red. Okay, so at this point I have everything put together there. I've got my line here. I've got a little hole cut. That's going to go actually inside of it. I've got my lights in. I'm ready to fasten this. Fasten this down. No! Just like that. Okay, my wires come. Okay, my wires come from the attic and come down here, and then I've gone ahead and I've trimmed to these. So one of these is going to go to the kind of that balcony, that shelf in the living room. The other one's going to go under my kitchen cabinets. So I'm going to take those and I'm going to feed them behind this shelf to my controller here and plug them into port 3 and port 4 on my controller. Okay, so feeding my wires through the hole in the top of the box. And there they come through the other side. Well, 1 wire down, 6 to go, and this area is really tight. So trying to make sure that my trims on the wires are short enough that I don't have a bunch of wire exposed at the top and no threads coming out the top that might go over and touch any other wire. So, well, I'll say that wasn't hard at all. No. Go port 3. Port 3 right there. Port 4 right there. And now we've turned it on. We're gonna go see if it works. It's booting. So the cabinets aren't completely in yet, but one wire comes from up there. There's gonna be crown molding going around the top. And I brought the wire down here. And what I'm gonna end up doing is cutting a hole here and drilling a hole right here and putting a blank piece of track. This is gonna have a wall here actually. I'm gonna drill a hole here and feed this from behind. Throw a blank piece of track here and then mount the track right here. Then on this side, again, a blank piece of track going back, and it jumps through the attic over to here. I cut a hole here, feed it through a blank piece of track up and mount it up towards the front here. And on this side's gonna be a little harder because I didn't run a line through the attic. So I'm gonna pull it down to here. And I'm gonna put a couple of holes going around the base here up to do this set of cabinets. So, but I'm not doing that today. I got a lot of time to do that. Okay, so I turned it on. I picked zone 3. Well, sorry, so I've got zones on the front, left, right, back of the house. I went to add a new zone, and in this case, the front and sides and back of my house are on port 1 and 2. So I picked port 3, because one of these was in port 3, one was in port 4, but one's not ready to run yet. And I turned it on, port 3, it defaulted to 1 through 50, and they all lit up. But I reduced it down to 3 lights, so lights 1 through 3, they're turning on. So they are working. So I've gone ahead and lit them all up again so you can see. So here's the end of my strand right here. And there's light 50, the blue light. That shows I've got lights 1 through 50 selected. So, yep, I just need to now lay this track. You know, it's only about 16 feet to the end, so it's probably gonna be a total of about 20 lights. And then I'll just cut the end, fold it over, put some electrical tape on it, then mount that track, and we're all done with this. It's all set. I can use it tonight. Okay, I've got a little ways left to go, one more piece of track. You can see I've got a row installed already. Testing them, they're still working, so should be good. Look at that on the ceiling. Cool. There we go. All the way down there. I actually don't use this shelf, but now it's going to be lights, and I think that'll look really cool at night. You know, if I was aggressive enough, I would do that one too. Oh, look, somebody's stuffed animals up there. And somebody's balloon. But we're just gonna do this one.
Dad, what are you doing?
And from down here, that's what that looks like. I'll have to see if you can see that from the outside. I think it looks pretty cool so far though. Do you think so, Rocket?